We're in the hour that we need a revival in our land. Revival that will sweep our country. Amen. People are not hungry anymore like they used to for revival. People don't want to spend time seeking God and praying for revival. You know, it's nothing for people to go, and please don't nobody get upset with me. Don't take me wrong and don't turn me off. Tune me in. We can go sit and watch a movie for 2 hours. It doesn't bother us. We may nod our head a time or two, but we wake up and we watch the rest of the movie. We sit there, we enjoy the movie. Everything's all right, but don't ask me to pray for 2 hours. Jesus took the disciples out one evening and he said, stay here while I pray. He went off a little ways and he came back, and guess what was going on? The disciples were asleep. Jesus went away again to pray the second time. When he came back the second time, guess what was going on? They were sleeping. The third time, they were sleeping. Jesus said to them, sleep on. Listen to me. We're in a world today, in our culture, where people don't seemingly need to pray or don't want to pray. We've lost the passion of prayer. Are you listening to me today? We've lost the passion of prayer. We stand in the crossroads of our culture. It's prayer that we need. It's prayer for our nation. It's prayer for our leaders. It's prayer for our homes. It's prayer for our businesses. It's prayer for our church. And if we neglect that prayer life, guess what's going to happen? We're going to be consumed in the world like the rest of the people are. We need to find a place to get alone with God. We need to spend some quality time with the Father in prayer. We put the altars in our churches, and they look pretty, but they're not there just to be decorative pieces. They're not there just to decorate the building. You know what the altars are for? The altars are the place of sacrifice. That's where we meet. But how many of our Pentecostal churches, yes, I'm going to say it, how many of our Pentecostal churches today even meet around the altars anymore? We don't have time. We want to come in. We want a fast fix. We want a fast message. We want some fast courses. We want to have a good time, and we want to leave, but we don't want to spend any time around the altars. And we look out in our world tomorrow and we wonder what's wrong with the world. Could it be that we are not spending any time with God around the altars? Well, that won't cost you anything. But we're in that place. Amen. Revival is brought about by passionate, persistent prayer. Look back in the old days, and you say, now wait a minute, Pastor, we're not in the old days, we're in the new days. That's what's wrong with a lot of people. Amen. We forget the past. We forget what God has done. We want to look to a new thing, to a new age. But listen to me, we need to look back and remember what brought on revival. It was men and women that had a passion. It was men and women that knew how to get a hold of God. It was men and women that spent hours on their knees. It was men and women that had a passion for prayer like never before, and they persisted before God. They did not turn loose. They grabbed a hold of the horns of the altar, and they prayed until something happened. They prayed until God shook heaven. They prayed until the families were restored again. They prayed until the kids came back. They prayed until God answered prayer. But today we don't need to pray. You know why? Because we can analyze everything. We can go to people that has all the answers, but we don't need to pray. Church, I'm telling you, we're in that hour. I know it's old-fashioned to preach like this, but it's time that we come back. Jeremiah said, come back to the old paths and ask for the way, for that's the way it is. We need to come back to that place and realize that we need prayer, because it's prayer that will bring revival back to our nation.